Hey guys, so finally got the DW set up a little bit. Well, for the most part, I got everything situated except for the rezos. So, well, and both stock heads on the snare. So, just to review, the DW frequent flyer, it's got a 14 by 5 snare with a mag throw off, the mini turret lugs. It's a 10 ply HVLT, the horizontal, vertical, low timbre shell where they integrate the plies horizontal, vertical, and they, attest that that gives you a lower fundamental in the same dimensions, depending on the wood grain. So, what I did get was a EMAD. I just got a single ply clear EMAD, threw a patch on it, and I left the pillow out of it. I tried putting the EQ pillow, the Evans EQ pillow in it, but it was just too wide, and it was, impeding both the batter and the reso, and creating a great punch, but very little tone. And this drum, it has amazing tone, which I love very much. So what I did was I just took the pillow out, no pillows in here at all, but I threw the thickest of the foam rings on for the EMAD. So let's see in comparison to how the last one sounded. It was so open and so resonant, and I know it wasn't a super great representation of the actual great sound of this kit. Just trying to get it as quickly into those ranges as possible without spending so much time knowing that the next day my heads were all coming in. I'm going to have to do it all over again. So what I did was kept the G2s on top. I'm just going to use those for now until those go out. They were almost brand new when I got the Mapex. And only after about 3 weeks to maybe 4 weeks of playing on them, I switched them out for UVs. So these G2s are in great shape. I use G2s on lots of different toms. They almost always never disappoint. So, whatever, shells, different grains, different plies, different amounts of, different wood species, all those different things. G2s usually sound pretty good, and I'm a fan of the coated versions. So, okay, here's the bass drum, and this is with the EMAD single ply with the patch, felt beater, and the thickest of the muffling rings. Pretty good, and it still has some of that sustain in there. And my biggest thing was that since it doesn't have, a front port where I can easily stick things in and out of it, it makes it more difficult to, always take the head off anytime I want to just do a little bit of a, a little science experiment to see how it affects the sound. But I think for now, that punch, that tone, you can get a good sense of how it mellowed out from just that boo, boo, boo to kind of dialing it in with a little more punch. So I think overall better timbre. I know I had the other drums tuned up too tight, just because I was just going by drum dial first and foremost, and not by my ear, and just going by general, what I've gotten used to with tuning other drums. But every drum is different, especially if you're using 2-ply head versus single ply or clear coated, that kind of stuff too. So. But I think this drum is sounding better in range, not so high. That sounds better to me. Because before it was like, it didn't have that lower fundamental to it. And then the octave between these two was a little off. So. Sounded pretty good together, and then this mag throw off is so cool too, and the snare too it sounds great for the controlled sound on it. It has a good bottom snare head on it too. So. Everything up, but let me know what you guys think. I think we're getting close. I'm not having those, overly, obtrusive, sustain to where it's turning muddy, and then I got the bass drum to sound great while still leaving it wide open, but cutting out enough just with the external muffling ring in the EMAD so that I didn't have to completely kill the tone, but still get, a good punch in there too. So, anyway, let me know what you guys think. And obviously, I'm still going to work on replacing the Rezos. These are still stock Rezos. I usually like using G1 coated for my Rezos. And then for this, although I love the logoed head, I'm not a huge fan of these vented heads because it almost makes it kind of a little bit drier sounding, almost like a vented ply, snare head. So I've had great luck with EQ3s for anything that I have to stick a microphone inside of the bass drum, these EQ3s work phenomenal. They're single ply, they're reinforced around the ring, they have a sound control muffling ring on the inside. So the EQ1s are single ply, the EQ3s are single ply, the EQ2s are 2-ply, and the EQ4s are 2-ply. So it's a little confusing because, they kind of went back and forth with it. But I use that for my Gretsch, and then for my Mapex kit, I have a black EQ3 on there just because, it looks good with the finish on this, plus it's clear. So it's got a little bit more punch and sustain to it than the coated version, the white coated version. So, but they make multiple versions, and that's, obviously a coated white. But you can see with the vents on it, and so yes, it does allow air to escape well, but it also dries out the overall tone of the drum some. So these EQ3s are just great for being able to, put something in there to rest, like, an instrument mic, or I have a Beta 91A, which is a flat paneled boundary mic I stick inside just on a small EQ pillow. And that seems to work great for that. And that's all I have in this 22 by 18 is just that little pillow on the inside. So, trying to get the inside look of it, but yeah, anyway, it's just one little EQ pillow on the inside just to rest that Beta 91A in, and it's not, taking away from the tone and the sustain. But I'll just have to keep messing with this kit because it's my newest one, and I'm still getting all the different parts and pieces in and figuring out the best layout and where they have their sweet spots and all that kind of stuff. But no matter what, this 20 by 12 is a beast of a bass drum. Yeah, it's a bit more like a bop kit, while still having the low fundamental of a 20. But the tone and the punch it produces, especially from the player or the audience side, is spectacular. I mean, this would, if you mic the bass drum, I mean, you could play a full concert with this kit. So, and then also supplement it with any, other kits, making a jelly bean kit or a hybrid kit. So my 14 by 14 Gretsch Catalina floor tom goes great and looks great with this kit, and because this floor tom is a 14 by 11, if I want a little more low end, or supplement a 16 in there, or swap different things out, or use different snare combos, or that kind of stuff, then that's always an option. So alright guys, I gotta get ready for this lesson. They're gonna be here any minute. And I did get a new snare basket, and I got this new Mapex throne. And the new Mapex throne is beefy. This is just what they had in the town, in my town. And look how thick that round top is. Whoa! So, it's like, 3 times as thick as, like 3 times as thick, or at least twice as thick as most all other thrones. So, that's going to make another great throne. And then I also picked up my last microphone for my lonely floor tom over here. So I have literally the whole kit mic'd except I've been having to swap out different instrument mics or swap out, tom mics depending on how many toms I'm using in a tune and whatnot. But I was able to find this EV. So it's what is it? Cobalt CO4 EV. So it's basically a SM57 knockoff, but it's actually built even better. It's got it's directional cardioid, and it sounds great. So I mean, it is a knockoff, but the sound it produces is just right on par and comparable with the SM57. So picked this up used for dirt cheap, and it works great. Tested it, examined it, and so now I've got that too. So it's all coming together, boys. All right, well, hopefully that gives a little bit better representation of the DW and how it's gonna sound over time. So yeah, pretty close. All right, guys. Love you. Happy drumming. Have a wonderful day. God bless.